Hello everyone, Miguel here, and in this video we are going to discuss on-page SEO. Basically, no matter where you're at when it comes to SEO, the basis of any SEO campaign, no matter what you hear, some people would tell you backlinking is the most important thing, some people would say guest posting, some people would say yada 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 yada. The most important thing about a local SEO campaign is your own page SEO. On page. In other words, everything that you can do on your website. Off page, link building, guest posting, citations, backlinking, and so on, releases. Those are off page. You cannot control that. Now, you can do a lot of things, but starting out, you cannot control that. You have to work for that. On page, you can do because it's your website. So you don't need anybody to help you. Like for guest posting, you need to contact a website in order to write for them to get that backlink. Press release, you need to pay somebody to write a press release, or if you already wrote the press release, then you need to pay a company to distribute it. So, but when it comes to on page, it's all you. You can do it, or you can have your, let's say, your web design company do your on page SEO if you know what you're doing. And what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to show you how I used to do on page SEO for my clients whenever I didn't have money to pay for software. And just so you guys know the softwares that I use, and I have no affiliations with them, but if you do have the budget and you're going to do SEO for yourself, then the softwares that I use is SEMrush, Bright Local, and Local Falcon. Local Falcon, I use it just to see what the rankings are for a specific business. SEMrush is basically to analyze both on page and off page. And Bright Local, I can also check. It's basically focused a lot on localized. So I look at, let's say, the keywords that businesses are ranking for, how they're showing up on Google, and so on. So basically, those three apps, that's what I mainly use. But for the purpose of this video, I am just going to show you how I used to do it. And I'm not going to go into all the little details. I'm just going to show you the main things that I used to do just to get started. And starting out, let's just do a search. Like, let's say, I'm not going to do a search for anything that relates to anything that we're currently working on or my business. Like say for a lot of the web design, I pretty much know all my competitors and what they're doing just because I've analyzed them enough and we're already ranking for a lot of those key terms. So I'm just gonna do a search, let's say plumber in, let's say what's a city, let's say Dallas, Texas. Okay, so now I'm just gonna show you literally step by step how I used to do research for understanding what works when it comes to on page for a specific key term that I wanted to rank a client for or myself. Um, so I did a search for plumbers in Dallas, Texas, and right here the map pack. These are local businesses. So the results here are local businesses that Google understands are doing a good job for plumber in Dallas, Texas. So depending on where you are, you may see different results because this takes into account proximity. Now, since I'm not anywhere near Dallas, it's basically just saying these are the best results. But if you were in Dallas somewhere, you may get these may be different because it takes proximity into account. So just keep that in mind. And here we have like the local, the organic results. And what we're gonna focus on, we'll do a few of these of the map pack, which is basically if you're a service-based business, this is what you're gonna focus on the most, like your map pack, because people see these results up here, as you can see, and they can just call you right away. They can look at your profile and they can call you. So you may want to focus on that. As you can see, call, boom. Okay, so we're just gonna pull up those two websites, and I'm gonna pull up the first two from the organic results. Now, the organic results, it's a little harder to rank down here than it is for the map pack. Yet right now, if you're a service-based business, you're probably going to have more um, calls and visits to your website from the map pack. So let's just go here. Just make sure that all of the pages loaded up over there. Do it here. I don't see anything here. Okay, so it's just that they're wasting all this space. Okay. So the first thing that I do is I try to look at their header, basically their main, the most important thing on their website when it comes to Google. And that's your H1 tag. So that's basically kind of like the title of your website. And I'll show you how to figure this out for a competitor. And that's basically the main keyword that they're going after on that page. In other words, on my website, this is my header, H1, web design agency for Lauderdale. So I have it up here. Um, and the way I used to do it is by going here. So I'm just gonna remove this. This application, you gotta have Chrome in order to be able to use it. So if you have Chrome, all you have to do, the name of the application is called SEO Meta. SEO Meta. And like I said, everything that I'm going to show you is free. So you can do it without spending any money. It's just that you gotta be willing to, you know, do the legwork, to spend the time to do these things. So I don't know why it's not coming up. Okay, so if you just do a search for SEO Meta one click, here I already have it, so it's just telling me if I can remove it. If you don't have it, it's gonna say add to Chrome. So once you add it, then you're gonna see this little icon over here. Let me just highlight it so you can see it. So this icon right here, SEO Meta. And once you once you have it, all you have to do is come to whichever website is showing up. I usually do the top three. For this purpose, I'm just doing two and two, but normally I would analyze the top three just to get an average of the top three results. Why? Because Google is already telling you they like those results and people are liking it as well. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna see the title. So the title is just what comes up over here. And this is, oh, I shouldn't have taken that down. Plumbers. So the title is basically this. This is the title. These are titles. This is the title. So for this one, we have Dallas Plumbers, Berkey's Plumbing. So Dallas Plumbers. Okay, if we come over here to another one of the results, we do a search. What do we have once again? Plumber, Dallas. Baker Brothers Plumbing. Now let's look over here. What do we have here? We have Emergency Plumbers in Dallas, Texas Metro Flow Plumbing. And what do we have over here? Plumbing service in Dallas. So in other words, as you can see, plumbing in Dallas. How you want to put it in your head in your title, that's up to you. But basically make sure that you use plumber or plumbing in Dallas. And you could do like award-winning plumber in Dallas, award-winning Dallas plumber, or whatever you want to do. I wouldn't copy word for word what anybody is doing, but I'm going to see what keywords they're using, and I'm going to implement those into my title. The next thing that I'm looking at is the headers. So, or actually, sorry, the description. So the description here, that's basically for organic search results for, and that's what you see here. This is the description. Now, a lot of times Google just grabs a description, but you can put a description on each page in your website. And normally that's what Google is gonna pull up. So let's go back over here and go back to our software. And then I'm looking at headers. So I already have the title. I know what titles are working because everybody's basically using the same key terms somewhat. The description, they're also using same stuff, plumbers, Dallas, and so on. Headers. Now, headers is basically you're telling Google this is the most important thing on my website. So the H1 is the most important thing on that page. H2 is the second most important thing on that page. H3 is the third most important thing on that page, and so on. So basically, you have your regular text, which is this, and then you have your H1, which in this case, let's see what it is. H1 is plumbing services in Dallas, Texas. So that's, and normally your H1 is, let me see. Normally your H1 is going to be this. This website obviously did it a little different, but they still made sure that their H1 is related to right here, plumbing services in Dallas, Texas. Let's see what other companies have. So this one has the header as, so I don't see any H1s here. No, they do have an H1. Where is it? So right here, once again, plumbers in Dallas, Texas. So you see the commonality? The H1s of both sites are Dallas, Texas. Plumbers in Dallas, Texas. Okay, so over here, let's go look at their H1. Baker Brothers bought it, best Dallas plumber. Once again, Dallas plumber. And then let's look at our fourth result. So their H1 24-hour emergency plumbing company serving Dallas, Fort Worth, Plano, Arlington, and more. Now, in this case, just because of the knowledge that I have, I would not try to focus on all these cities in in one page. I'm gonna create separate pages for each city. So in this case, since the search that we did was Dallas plumber or plumber in Dallas, then this may be the end for me. So let's say since I'm not just going to copy them, they have 24-hour emergency plumbing company serving Dallas. So I could say 24/7 emergency plumbing company in Dallas, Texas. So it's different. You don't want to be too different because you don't want to basically rewrite the wheel. Google is already telling you what's working. So you just want to be different. But you don't want to copy them, but you want to be similar so that Google understands, oh, okay, so he's doing the things that people like. And remember, Google's job isn't to rank your website just for the hell of it. Google's job is to rank the website that best meets the demands of their searchers, so their clients. In other words, if somebody's searching for Dallas plumbers in Dallas, and these are the first four companies that come up, you can guarantee that these websites, when people arrive at these websites, they're staying on the websites, they're contacting them, and so on. Why? How do I know that? Because Google would not be ranking them number one if they weren't. The content on their pages, as you can see, is a bit similar but different. And anybody arriving at these pages, they have their calls to action, they have this, they have that. But basically, Google is rewarding them because people like the results. When they go to these pages, they talk about what they just did a search for. They're looking for a plumber in Dallas. All of these pages are talking about plumbers in Dallas. This one talks about other areas, which I wouldn't do, but they're talking about Dallas as well. So people aren't surprised. They're seeing a result that basically says, yes, I understood what you searched for, and here's what I can do for you as a plumber. So let's move on. You already understand the headers. And then I'm gonna look at, how many H3s, how many H2s. And the way I do it, I just take an average of the top three. And I try to be not at the bottom, but somewhere in the middle. When it comes to the H1, you're only gonna have one. H2, you can have a few. H3, you can have a few. So I'm just going to see how many the average of the top three results have, and I want to be in the vicinity. I don't want to go way above, and I don't want to be below. I want to be somewhere in the middle. Why? Because if I go way above, I may be overdoing it. If I go way below, I'm brand new. These other companies have been around for a long time. They've been doing SEO work. Google already likes them. I'm trying to be light. So I want to be somewhere in the middle. I don't want to be at the bottom because I don't have that trust from Google yet. So I want to be more near the top than anything else. So moving on, so you understand headers and the title. Now, the next thing that I do is I look at images. How many images do these websites have? And when I say images, I'm not talking about, like, say, this image here, like this is a testimonial. I'm not looking at those images, but I'm looking at these images. Like, let's say if you do save as, if you right click and you hit save as you can see, look at that. Dallas Plumbing Company. Once again, we did a search for plumbers in Dallas, and they say, like, whenever you do a click and you hit save image as, it's basically gonna save it the same way that person saved it on their website. So basically, whatever name they gave it, that's what will come up here when you do save as. So you see, okay, Dallas Plumbing Company. Okay, that's good. So that's one image. It's a so there's no more. Basically, this one has this is a coupon, so I wouldn't worry about that. These are some more images. Let's say if I hit save as, so Texas, Arlington, HVAC, yada yada. So stuff that's similar. So in other words, what I'm trying to get at is that I'm gonna look at how many images the websites have. So I already did that one. That one only had like two images. This one has one image up here. Save image as. And let's see what this one says. Baker Brothers truck. So that doesn't have anything to do with keywords that they're trying to rank for. These are links to their words and so on. It's a video. Here are more images. Okay, so that's more like a link. So these are linked images. So I'm not too concerned about this. But now, one thing that I have noticed, and both of the websites that we've just looked at have videos. So in other words, this one has a video back here. Let's see if they have images. So they have images, save images, sewer line repair. So they're saving their images, kind of like talking about MFP toilet installation. So they're talking about the services when on their images. So this one doesn't have an actual video, but it does have this where people speak and so on, but it does have this video over here. This one, yeah, image, PSV, okay, so that's just talking about the van. We have a background image. So basically for images, what I'm trying to do is just get the average of the number of images that these pages have on their website. None of these websites have a lot of images. So let's say if I figure out, okay, the average is 5, I'm gonna try to have 5. Or if let's say the top one has 10, and then the other two from the top 3 results, let's say one has 5 and then the other one has 7, I'm probably just gonna say, okay, I'm gonna have 8 because I'm not gonna overdo it. And images aren't the most important thing, but I like to take it into account and I look at what keywords they're using when they save these images, and I'm going to try to implement them as well. And as you saw from the first two, they're using Dallas plumbers. So in that case, I will be implementing that into my strategy. So now the third thing that I'm going to do, and remember, this is only about SEO. This isn't about their cost of action and so on. This is strictly SEO, things that I would do on page in order to put my website in good position or in the good graces of Google, of what Google already likes. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I basically do Control A so that I highlight everything. I don't much care if it's, I mean, I don't care what it is that I'm highlighting for the purpose of on-page SEO. I just want to see how many words are on that page. So I'm gonna pull up word counter. I'm just gonna do it for 2. That way we don't do it for every single one. Just gonna show you so you get an idea. Okay, so let's say I'm doing that. Whoop. So this page has 993 words on it. And this one, okay, so let's do this one. And this page has 1047. Now I'm actually kind of curious, um, just to see if any of the 4 results goes way beyond the norm. This one has 489, so that's definitely super low. And this one has 896. So if you look at that, just the word count, you have your outlier, which is 489. So I don't even care about this guy. Now, if I'm doing just the top 3, remember I took 2 from the map pack and 2 from the search results, from the organic search results. So, but if I was just to do the top 3 from each one, what I do, I calculate, let's say in this case, we have this website with 993. So 993, oops, what am I doing? 993 plus this one has 1047, 1047 plus, I'm just gonna take out the outlier, just the 896 plus 896. So let's say these were the 3. So I have 2,936 words. I'm gonna divide it by 3, and I get 978. So basically, you have 978 words on the page, and that's where I want to be at. That's my minimum. So that's the average of the top 3 results. So when I start writing the content for the page that I'm trying to rank, I'm going to have my base as the average of the top 3. So 978 is the least amount of words that I'm gonna have on my website, on my page. Now, my recommendation and what I always do, I try to get closer to the one that has the most. And for word count, I actually have no problem going over the top. Why? Because it's just text. And the more text you give Google, the more text you give that person going into your website, then the more information that they can have, the more chances that you have for ranking for related key terms. Because if you're writing content, it's kind of like automatically you're going to use key terms that are related to what you're trying to rank for within your content. So in other words, you may be talking about plumber in Texas, but as you write content, you may talk about services, plumbing services in Texas, or plumbing services in Dallas. Plumbing, like different words that you're going to use that are related. And that just helps Google rank you for more key terms. So the minimum is the average of the top 3. But I'm going to try to get as many words as the person at the top or more. And those are the main things that I do when it comes to on page if I don't have any money to start out. Once again, don't worry about what anybody is saying, backlinks, don't worry about press releases, don't worry about anything that you cannot control when starting out. Worry about the base. Think about it like this. If you're trying to eat fried chicken, now different people have different recipes. So one person may add a certain sauce that another person doesn't. One person may pat the chicken dry and another person doesn't. But when it comes to eating fried chicken, you gotta have certain things. You gotta have chicken. You gotta have, if you're gonna fry it, you gotta have oil and you gotta have a pan to fry it on. Now, if you're gonna do it on a what you call it, on a air fryer, then you won't need an oil, you won't need a pan. You just put it in your air fryer. But you definitely gotta have chicken. So in other words, that's your own page. That's your home. Without chicken, you're not gonna be eating chicken, fried chicken. When it comes to on-page SEO, it's your website. If you don't have a website, you can't do on-page SEO. You can't rank on Google without a website, unless you're gonna rank for in here for the map pack. Yes, you can rank without a website, but it's a bit harder. So your website is the base for your map pack and for your organic search results. In other words, you want to make sure that you have your own page in accordance to what Google is telling you that it likes. Like, don't worry about somebody telling you, oh, you gotta have this header, or you gotta have this many words, or you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Sure, they may have information, they may have done a bunch of experiments, a bunch of tests, and they can say, oh, most pages that are ranked number 1 in Google have 2,000 words on them. Now, that's not the same for every industry. They're just telling you what they know based on a large test that they've done or that someone else has done. And they take the average and they say, oh, it has this many words. But being a service-based business, you don't know, like, you don't want to use that information as the Bible. You can come in Google and verify for yourself. Yes, the average for most for websites that are ranking in the top three is true. Is I believe is 2,400, 25, 2,400 words or so. But as you can see here, none of these websites are even close to 2,400 words. So in other words, in this industry in Dallas, now it may be different if we look at Miami plumbers, but in Dallas, Google is saying, hey, if you have about 1,000 words on your homepage, you're okay. And that's what we want to go after. We want to go after what's already working. We don't want to go after theory or tests that were done in general. We're going after what we want, not what, you know, these tests or whatever came up with. And then when it comes to the images they're getting less and less important, but I still like to analyze them and seeing the keywords that people are using within their images. And lastly, the headers and the H1s, make sure that you look at those and you use the ones that you see that are relevant. As you can see doing this, everybody's using something similar. They're just changing it a little bit. So plumbers in Dallas, award-winning Dallas plumber. That's literally the same thing, but it's different. And you're not gonna be plagiarizing, you're not gonna be copying somebody. Just make sure that you're original, but you're using the information that's working. And those are the only things that I wanted to focus on for this video. In later videos, I may go into interlinking, which is basically linking from one page to another page of your website. This is just to get you to understand the basics of on-page SEO and to get you going in the right direction. So if you like this video, if you have any questions, or you just want to discuss something with me, you can leave a comment down below. You can contact me here by going to my website at uniquewebdesigner.com, and make sure that you like the video, share the video, let everyone know about it. And as I always say, unique is out.